Most people don't grow up. It's so damn difficult. What happens is most people get older. That's the truth of it. They honor their credit cards, they find parking spaces, they marry, they have the nerve to have children, but they don't grow up. Not really. They get older. But to grow up costs the earth. The earth. It means you take responsibility for the time you take up and the space you occupy. Grow up.
Really know if this is my last time, but what I know is I'm feeling just fine. My life is like a red carpet, and I'm feeling like the richest millionaire. This is my local mayor, and I'm the biggest star around here. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. And I just want to expound on this, that the older I get, the more I understand this. That most people don't grow up, they just get older. And a lot of times you make the assumption that people at some point are going to grow up. But the older you get, you'll have the privilege of watching people that you may know, whether it be family or whether it be friends along the way or friends of friends or just people over the years, and you'll come to realize, oh, this person just gets older. They're still the same stupid child. And this is what I mean. Because this can work this can work in a dysfunctional way, of course, but it can work in a functional way. And I'm gonna start with a functional way. They're kids that you know, they may be adults now, that people considered an old soul or mature or ahead of their age group, more responsible, more thoughtful, like more considerate, right? And that's who they, for the most part, that's who they wind up being their whole life. And then they were kids who were selfish and I was gonna say dysfunctional, but I need to be specific about it. Petty, attention seekers. You get what I'm saying? People who throw tantrums. Um, people who got to make it about me, 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 me. Jealous hearted. You find out as you get older, those qualities still exist. They persist. And what happens is, as an adult, you start coming across people that you don't know, that you never met. And then when you meet them, you go, oh, it's not me, because I don't know. Whatever's wrong with you, it's not me, because I don't even know you. You're acting like this out the gate. This is my first interaction with you. This is my fifth interaction, and you've been pretty consistent acting like this. Now, let me say this. I've been a trash talker my whole life. Lighthearted, but I could dish it and I could take it. If I'm talking trash to you and you talk trash back to me, and you really, getting at it and doing me dirty, I think it's funny because I talk a lot of trash. So if I say something funny about you and you say something funny about me, I've always been like, it's just jokes to me. Not being, personal and all that other stuff. But then I know people in my life who they've made bad decisions their whole life for immature reasons. And this didn't stop. At 20 they were doing it. At 30 they were doing it, and people were like, what the at 40 they were doing it, and people were like 50, 60, and then you're like, wait a minute. I don't need to have a conversation with this person, because that's how much time has passed. You've seen people who, I'm the baby of the family, and they become adults and parents and grandparents, still,
seeing themselves as the baby of the family. They never grew up. They had other babies in the family that's been born and grew up and had families and have kids that are the babies of the family. But this 50-year-old still sees themselves as the baby of the family. Um, I've seen people who jealous hearted. You saw it as a kid. This kid can have a toy and they're good. But if they see this kid with a toy, now all of a sudden they got to go over there and take their toy. And if they can't have their toy, they lose their minds. And you think that will go away, but guess what happens? You see teenagers who are jealous hearted. Then you see adults who are jealous hearted because that's basically what you call a hater, right? You see this person, why they got to have that? I want that. Why I want it. I want that too. I deserve that. I earn that. Why they got to have it? And it's like you don't. Your whole life lesson was you never appreciated what you had. You always watched what somebody else had and wanted it more. And because you didn't get what they had, what you have ain't as important. Just jealous hearted. You know, I've seen people who, they needed attention as a child. They needed attention. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And then you see them as adults, teenagers as adults and, all the way up to senior citizens. Still, look at me, look at me. That's part of um, what people are talking about in social media. Some people just doing stuff for attention. Um, I've seen people who have been selfish their whole lives. They just got older. When you look at America, right? When you look at leadership in this country and how this country is run, do you really do you think you're looking at adults because you're trying to figure out how these people who are 50, 60, 70 years old are making these stupid decisions and you're expecting them to be wiser and more knowledgeable, but what you forget is they're just old kids trying to get what they want out of it. They never cared about other people. They always cared about themselves and what they could get. So they never thought about everybody else. They only thought about self. You know, that's what you see, when people make how can I say this? When you see people who are younger and they don't want to be the center of attention, usually they become adults and they get older and not want to be the center of attention. You get what I'm saying? You see kids who always want to be in the mix. I want to go here. I want to go. I want to go here. I want to go there. You see that escalate as people become teenagers and adults because I want to go to this party. I want to go to that party. I want to go here. I want them to see me here. And what do you see as adults? People who just want to go everywhere to be around everybody and to feel like, oh, I'm in the spot right now. So you see people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s always, I got to be in the spot. And it's like, what? Like you never grew out of that? No, they just grew older in it. That's why in every um avenue of life, there's just an older version. There's always an older version of what younger people are doing. It might look a little bit different, but it's the same thing. You get what I'm saying? You went from house parties, to college parties, to nightclubs, to lounges, to juke joints, to hole in the walls. You get what I'm saying? So it went that way. You know, that's what goes on. You got kids. You got thrill seekers. Like when people are children, they're thrill seekers. They doing all this stuff, and then they become teenagers and adults and be thrill seekers. And they get older and become thrill seekers. A lot of them don't make it super old because their thrill seeking catches up with them, right? You got bad kids who always getting in trouble. Guess what happens? They get older and they're bad adults getting into trouble. That's what happens. You got good kids, always doing what you say, quote unquote, is the right thing. They get older, and what are they? Good older people who are doing the right thing. You got people who are expecting other people to fix all of their problems when they're like kids. You got to fix my problem. Guess what? They become adults who think other people got to fix their problems. You get what I'm saying? Same thing. You got kids who are entrepreneurs, and they grow up to be entrepreneurs. So sometimes people think people grow up, but they just get older. Because, and I hate to say this, there's some people who don't even think about growing up until they have kids. And then there's some people who have kids and they're just a child. They're just an old child with a child because they're still, they wind up competing as a child with their own child, and sometimes that's why you see some of these kids that are so mature, because it's like a reverse. If you got an immature parent, you're going to have a mature child. And if you got a mature parent, sometimes you have an immature child because they're always leaning on their parents or whatever. But if a kid is lazy, they usually get older and they're lazy. If a kid has a good work ethic, they get older and have with a good work ethic. They just get older at it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just leave it at that. You tell me what you think about it. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna tell you.